cool. So same sort of intro for the mortgage ones. Sit down. Hey, John, just so you know, the company I work with is Family First Life. We do mortgage protection, normal life insurance, and retirement income planning. Obviously, we're here to focus on your mortgage thing, making sure something happens. I'm sure the reason you guys filled it out is because if something happens, either you want to make sure that the other person's not stuck with the bill, right?
Correct.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, did anyone tell you should do this? Did anyone pass away recently? Anything like that? I run into that a lot with my clients, so I'm just curious if you guys had anything like that.
We're going back in time, like
Yeah, like when you guys were,
right?
when you're accounting.
Yeah, we have a pause there.
Yeah.
No, I don't know of anybody our age or anything that's
Okay.
died. We bought the house not too long ago and kind of read the thing and I'm trying to figure out what it's all about.
Okay. Cool. Have you guys ever owned a house before? Or is this the first one?
It's the first one.
Okay. Congrats. So I mean, that must mean you guys are doing pretty well, right? Income wise. Yeah.
You got approved.
You got approved, right? Yeah. Yeah. Well, so the good news is, John, when we're going through this today, the lender already pre-qualified you for this because they wouldn't have let you get a loan if you couldn't afford to have a bunch of your income free, meaning you can afford stuff like this and stuff for your kids, camps, whatever the case may be. But I'm not going to show you anything today that you can't afford because you've already been qualified for the bank to be able to get everything that we're going to go through today. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I know everyone's worried about budget. You don't need to worry about that. It's not going to be anything outrageous, okay?
I want you to, so like,
Yeah.
guess you're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
How intentional that was for him
Yeah.
to do that in the house. I mean, I don't know how many people picked up on that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's just like, it's setting the stage for what's coming.
We're getting rid of the budget objection up front. That's like the one I used to get the most, so I hammer it at the beginning of the appointment. You guys are doing well. You have 60% of your income free from, before we even talk about their income, I know that it's all free because the lender just approved them for a loan, right?
Yeah.
So I hammer that at the beginning until they're like, yeah, we're doing awesome. I make him feel, and then we'll both feel great about their income. And I'm like, don't worry, we're not going to show you anything you can't afford today.
It's hard to say I'm broke in 20 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Yeah,
just
there's no
like,
chance.
yeah, we
It'd be
did
like
all, you know?
you were just talking about how awesome everything was going, and you had so much income. So, and I tell them like we're not going to show you anything that you can't afford today. That would be possible with the amount of income and your debt to income ratio that you were approved for the loan for. Okay. All right. So John, how old are you?
35.
35. Cool. And then Steph?
30.
30. Just pretend like I went back through that he was chasing her thing. That's still stay the same. All right, John, you said earlier you work as an accountant now, right?
Yep.
Okay. Do you know about what your monthly income is?
It's like 45 grand a year.
Okay,
So,
45 grand a year.
like a quarter, I think.
4 grand. Got it. Damn, life's a lot better now, isn't it?
Amen, brother.
All right, and then Steph, you work as well. You said, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What do you do for work?
I am business manager for an optical laboratory.
Okay. Business manager. Do you know about what your monthly or whichever way you know it, monthly or yearly? It's fine.
55.
55. Okay. Got it. So it's fair to say that you guys need both incomes to pay all your bills and everything.
Mhm.
Got it. Like most of my families, if you lost one, it'd make life pretty impossible, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Do you guys have any kids or anything, or
Mhm.
how many kids?
5.
5. Okay. They all live with you?
No.
Cool. How many live with you? 1.
1.
Okay. Do you get the other ones on weekends or anything like that? Okay. The other 4 or
3 now.
3? Okay. Cool. So 1 kid permanently and then 3 live with you. What are your kids' names?
Shaylee,
Mhm.
TJ,
These are real names.
yeah,
right?
Shaylee, and their ages, yeah. So legit. So if y'all wanted, this part's real.
Yeah.
Shaylee's now almost 25.
Okay.
TJ's 20, big 21. Gabby's 13. Braden's 11. And Maddox is 7. Hiding in the corner playing his iPad. Y'all wondering who that one is.
Gotcha. You guys clearly have a basketball team with your
Yeah.
kids, right? That's awesome.
If they were that athletic.
Right. Okay, cool. All right, and then what's the mortgage balance total here?
What's left?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like 120.
120. Okay, and it's 30 years, I assume.
It is, yeah.
Okay. What's the monthly payment on it?
It's like 850.
850. Okay. And then was the house appraised at the 120 or
A few bucks more.
a few
like
bucks
one-
more? You guys had to put a little down payment down on it or something like
Yeah,
that?
there you go. A few grand to put down.
Okay. And then are you guys both on the mortgage?
Yep.
Okay, both on the mortgage, got it. That's smart. That's very smart. A lot of couples don't do that, so it sounds like you at least somewhat have your stuff together, right? Know what you're doing. Cool. And I just try to edify people as much as I possibly can throughout the whole appointment. Like,
People
good
eat that stuff
job,
up,
it's
too.
smart. Like, I try to make her feel good. Like he's chasing you. She's like, yeah, look, I'm really pretty. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like I just try to build people up the whole time. And I'm not really very funny, but I make them laugh every once in a while. Just try to say something sarcastic to make people laugh. So I do the health same way, so any medications, anything like that for you guys?
No.
Okay. When you were looking at this, were you guys mostly just looking just if you died to have the mortgage pay off, or were you wanting something if you got really sick to help out as well?
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean by that one?
Like if you had like anything critical, like a heart attack or a stroke or anything like that? Like, so did you just want this policy that we're gonna do a little bit just to pay off just the mortgage if you died only, or if you got sick as well?
It would make sense if we're sick as well.
Sick as well?
That's all.
I just had them pick HMS, right? Like at this part of the appointment, they just picked the, and I'm gonna make it seem like they picked it, right? But that was intentional as well. And then are you guys doing anything to try to pay off your mortgage early at all, or
We send a little bit extra.
how much extra?
I send 1,000 a month.
You send 1,000 extra a month?
No, 1,000 total.
1,000 total, so okay, so about $80 a month. Cool. And then, do you have a certain goal of when you wanna have the mortgage paid by? 20, 25 years? probably?
That'll pay it off a few years early. I
Okay.
don't know the exact, but it knocks it down.
It'd be nice if you get it to 25?
Yeah.
Okay. Same thing, right? It's just, I'm trying to do the 25-year cash back, so nice if it'd be 25, and he's like, yeah, that would be nice. So then when I show it to him later, he's like, that's awesome, that's exactly what I'm
I
looking
don't
for.
walk, like, and these numbers are my legit mortgage before,
Yeah.
like, when we started this business.
Right.
Like, this is what I was doing. I'd have walked right into HMS one. 25-year
Right? So it's
cash back.
like, you want something.
Yeah, I didn't like
you
make
get
this
sick.
up to make it easier. That's
Yeah.
what that was our mortgage payment. That was our mortgage balance before we.
Yeah.
I mean, like when I was new, we lived in a little 1,200 square foot house. That was $800 a month.
So they just picked out they want the cash back, and they picked out that they want
Yeah.
something for critical illness, right? So, okay, do you guys have any insurance not including what you get through work?
No.
Only
Only
work.
work.
All right, so y'all, I'm sure y'all know that this is why you're looking into this, right? Is because you know the work coverage is only good as long as you're there. Or like if your company decides to get bought out or sell or whatever, that you can lose that coverage and it's not yours, you don't own it. You
I thought
understand
I
that,
could
correct?
keep it.
No, because as soon as, did they ever send you a policy or just a little piece of paper?
I think just a piece of paper.
Yeah, so the company owns that coverage, so if one day the owner decides that he wants to buy an island, then your coverage is gonna go away.
Oh, wow.
Or whatever he wants to, if he decides that he's gonna sell the company or you don't work there anymore, or worse, you get sick for 3-4 months, and can't work anymore, that coverage stays with the company.
Gotcha.
So like, if anything, you basically have to die at work for that one to pay out, does that make
Okay,
sense?
yeah,
Got it, okay, so it makes sense why we don't really rely on the work coverage?
yeah, I didn't know.
Okay, cool. I asked that one 3-4 times too to make sure that's done, like, we're not gonna talk about that again. If she brought it up now, it'd be really weird, right? She's like, I agree, yeah, no, that coverage
Yeah.
sounds terrible.
Which is funny. That part was legit too.
Yeah.
Like she remembers now when
Yeah.
when we found out because I didn't know this stuff. When
Yeah.
I started, I had no insurance and she had a work policy.
Mhm.
And it was like, and then I started learning this, and I'm like, let's look at that thing.
Yeah.
And it was a sheet of paper. It was like 80 grand, I think you had.
Yeah.
And I remember having to explain it to her. She's like, oh, neither one of us had a clue.
Right. So I'd like to educate people that as well, and I'd just like to say it like, I'm sure you guys know this, right? And she had to go out of her way, but most people will just be like, oh yeah, I knew that, because they don't want to seem dumb, right?
Yeah.
So then from there, what I'll do is I just show them, I draw, if you haven't listened to Frankie Fumi yet, listen to it, how he draws out to do the amortization table and how to pay the mortgage off early. I personally just show them how to cover the whole mortgage with cash back, and then I ask again, which one of you guys does the budget? John will say him, and I slide it over to him, hey, is this manageable in your budget? And if he flinches at all, like if it's not, don't worry, we can lower it a little bit. So I let him look at it though and tell me, yeah, it's a little high. I'm like, no worries, we can cover a little bit less. You know what number would be about right for your budget? And I just kind of work down that way. But I always start with the whole thing for both people, and then move down. If I just read it, like I show it to him, and if he looks fine, I don't say a word. So if I'm like, here, what do you think? And he's just looking at it, like, yeah, I could do that. Then I don't say a single thing. I'm like, all right, just grab me your checkbook and your ID. But if I slide it over and he looks at it and his eyes get wide or like he gets tense or something, I'm like, John, you guys both make about half the income anyways. So what we'll do is do a little bit lower coverage just to make sure you cover each other's half of the mortgage. Does that make sense? Because most people don't cover the whole thing anyways. I just have to show you the maximum amount. So I just try to read it as best I can, and I always try to top down sell. Yeah. And then if they tell me like they want to think about it or anything like that, I'll ask them, okay, so from this, it sounded like this stuff was all important to you with the critical illness and the cash back. Is it truly a budget thing, or is it something you're not understanding on here at all, or just walk me through that a little bit? What's your biggest issue with purchasing this?
I mean, just pricing wise.
Just pricing wise?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I showed you originally was, let's just say it's $300 a month for the whole thing. What's a number you'd be comfortable with, John?
Maybe if I were like, I don't know, half that, a couple $100 maybe.
Like half? Okay. So let me ask you, is it more important for you to have the entire mortgage covered or to get your money back early and be able to pay the house off?
Seems like it makes sense to get money back.
Get money back,
Yeah.
okay. And the cool thing is you guys both make about like half of, like you guys' income's about half and half, right? So we can cut this in half and at least cover 150 on each person. That way if the other one dies, you can refinance the mortgage and manage the payment. Does that make sense?
Got it.
Okay, so 150 sounds good for your budget?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Just do me a favor, go grab me your driver's license and your.
Need more
checkbook.
water?
I need more water. And a steak dinner, please.